So this was about 7.5 pounds. If you guys have any questions as I'm working, please feel free. I am going to throw this on a bat because it is kind of large. You don't have to throw these on bats though if you don't want to. And by the way, I would really like all of my bats back here washed as well. Yeah, I will for this one because I'm going to do something that has a good amount of volume outward. So in order to do that, I need to kind of I'm going to have to trim it. And the way that I pull the spout for this one, it will still sit upside down level, or that won't. So those, if you have to trim that, you're going to probably have to trim it in a chuck. So even in my first pull, I'm going to make sure that I'm leaving some thickness at that rim. I want to be able to pull a nice spout. I don't want it to be paper thin. I don't want it to look so fragile. That isn't the look that I want for this form. No, after. You probably can trim before, I guess, but you just really have to make sure that that top doesn't get too set up. You know, that it's impossible to score and slip that other parts on. If I was making like an excessively elongated slab attached spout, I probably would trim the form prior. So I'm already starting to think about the form that I want to make. And because I'm throwing with a good amount of weight, I'm going to want to start controlling my clay earlier than later. So I'm going to want to start kind of grabbing this in a little bit. I really want to make a nice round form, so I'm not going to do too much more pulling. So what I'm going to do now is pull and shape at the same time. So as I collected that pull, I am now widening as I am pulling, which is giving me all of that material to be able to widen it more and more. This would actually be a really good form for darting as well. So I'm still shaping the form. I'm pushing the form into that rib tool. When I'm doing like a curved form like this, as I'm doing this top area, I'm making sure that my fingers are on the inside and that they're actually kind of still pushing upwards into that rib tool. So they're giving that volume all the way up. It's very easy to not do that and have the form look very volumetric and then go straight in like this. Okay, so a form continues to look volumetric because it maintains that volume here as well. That volume is here, not round, 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 kind of straight in. Try it. I'm serious. You'll notice a huge difference if you pay attention to the last portion of the curve. These are things that I think about all the time when I'm throwing. Okay, so I have the body pretty much good. And I'm going to stop again, so I'm not going to thin that out too much. I'll make sure all the water's out of the interior. So you notice that it's not that all of this is thick. This is thick here. This is thin here, okay? It's just that the rim's thick. Okay. So again, I'm a right-handed potter. So I'm gonna work on my right first. So I'm first going to start pulling it. So I'm going to use my finger underneath and my thumb on top. I'm going to start pulling this out. Now I'm not pulling it to a point where it gets like so thin that it's going to rip. I'm pulling the area that I want to have be curved. And I can go back and clean up that line. So I want that when it cleans up back to be, you know, have some thickness to it. I don't want it to like fold on itself, that it was just so thin. So I could do that again if I want to. I, for some reason, like to do this on my right side. Okay, it just works better for me. Okay, now I'm going to turn this to me. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my two fingers on where I started and where I ended, underneath. Take my finger here. Now I could push up with these fingers and I'm going to kind of round with the other. So I could push up. So I could do this as little or as much as I want. Like I could really push in, I could push in less. It's up to me on what size I want. So now I have this kind of spout. So it will sit fine upside down. This is just a natural pulled pitcher spout.